Hey everybody, this is Sky. And when I want to know what's going on in the wonderful world of sports, I tune to Sports World Radio.
Growing tired of knots, tangled up in problems, and not caring enough. Now I'm on a journey to find what's right, always telling the truth, but hiding all the lies. And don't go thinking I'm being myself. I just act this way around you, and there's someone else. This isn't where I wanna be. Let's look in the kitchen and the living room. Nothing to find but what's left from a really great time, which wasn't any of mine. Running away feels like a storm. Let's throw our problems out the door today. Well, I'm finding things clear to me. And don't go thinking I'm being myself. I got other things on my mind, not you or anyone else. This isn't where I wanna be. Whoa, make me see the things on the inside. 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 Don't go thinking I'm being myself. I just act this way around you, and to someone else. This isn't where I wanna be. Grab my hair and tell me it's just me. It's just me. Yeah. Whoa, grab my hair and tell me it's just me. Yeah. This isn't where I wanna be.
Hey, this is EAJ Man from Autopsy Live and the Skype Pirates. When I want to make it look like I don't give a shit about sports, I tune into Sports World Radio with Jeff Eskow.
Jeff,
Doing about time.
San Diego. It's Sports World Radio. You've never heard a sports show like this. Oh, no, you haven't.
Oh, blow me.
You got it.
Holy fucking shit.
What in the hell is your major malfunction?
Can't believe that goddamn son of a bitch did that fucking crap.
Don't give me any of your shit.
Right?
Yeah, that's right. Those are your hosts, Jeff Escow and Sean Mann. Remember, those who can't play sports, talk about it. These two tell it like it is. Tune into Sports World Radio for the fastest hour of sports of your life. So here they are, the douchebags of sports themselves, Jeff Escow and Sean Mann.
Hey, kiddies! What's going on? Jeff Escow, Sean Mann, bringing you Sports World Radio. Glad everybody could be with us today. That's why I'm feeling a little weird, man. Sean said to me, what the hell's going on with you over there? I don't know. But I'm in a good mood. Got a lot of things going on. It's nice and cool in this studio right now. We'll see how long that lasts for. And with all the heat that's going on here in San Diego, it's kind of warm outside the studio. It's kind of nice and cool inside the studio for right now. Thank everybody again for listening to this crazy 2-hour sports journey that we are going to take you on today. Should be a lot of fun. Coming up in the second hour of the show, Frank Spreaker will be joining Sean and myself. That should be a lot of fun, too. Before we get into anything, let me get all the particulars out of the way so we can jump right on into the good stuff. SportsWorldRadio.com is the place to listen to the show, SportsWorldRadio.com. Or, if you choose, come on over to Spreaker.com. That's Spreaker.com. Spreaker.com. Come on over there. It's free to get an account if you don't have one. Get a free account. The reason why I ask that or say that is because that's where our chat room is. So we're hanging out in our chat room over at Spreaker.com. So head on over there. You can chat in our chat room, ask us questions, and see what's going on that way. Or just hang out in Sports World Radio and listen to us like a regular sports show. If you do that and you have Skype and you want to get in touch with the show, click that little red button on the left-hand side that says Call Now. It says Call Now, Skype users only. You'll be directed right to the show. For non-Skype users, 619-663-3715 is the number. 619-663-3715 is the number to give us a call at. Facebook.com/SportsWorldRadio is to like our Facebook page. Facebook.com/SportsWorldRadio. And Twitter.com/SportsWorldRadio as well. Twitter.com/SportsWorldRadio. Now I believe all the particulars are out the way. What do you say, hey, we bring in the co-host of Sports World Radio himself, Sean Mann, the update man. What's going on there, you rat bastard?
Welcome, Jeff, and welcome everybody to Sports World Radio on this Tuesday, August 5th, 2014, 6:07 p.m. on the East Coast, which makes it 3:07 p.m. on the West. Temperature right now, 93 degrees. The weather's starting to cool off a bit. I'm doing well. I'm doing great. I'm doing grand and stuff like that. How are you, Jeff, and how's the weather out there in San Diego, man?
Hot. You heard when I called you, I had the air conditioner on, right?
It figures.
Yep. I did, right? I had the air conditioner on when I called you.
Yeah, I heard that.
Man, I got to cool this place off somehow.
Yeah, got to.
Got to, you know? And this is how I'm doing it. If you don't like it, I don't care. Tough noogies. Tough noogies.
And I've been busting their chops in the chat room. Dr. Myth and Joshy, I was expecting you two to go after me. Encyclopedia Man and the Bathroom Man, Dr. Myth. Yeah.
Why are they going after you?
Well, because here's the thing. Dr. Myth can't seem to get past my talk about bringing up bathrooms. Hey, look, man, I put all that stuff behind from last year, and he still can't put it behind. That's why I say that Dr. Myth enjoys sleeping in bathrooms, and then you got an Encyclopedia Man over there who tries to get on me about chins and all that other stuff. Give me a break.
It's still busting your chops, huh, Sean?
Yeah, still busting my chops.
Sean, you're the bathroom man, Dr. Myth says.
I am not the bathroom man. I am not the one who always comes in the chat room and always brings up the stuff about bathroom man, you cowboy fan. That's what I call him. He's
I
all
don't know.
upset about that.
I don't know if
And
he
said,
is a Cowboy fan, though.
well, I said to Dr. Myth, I said, ooh, scary. I'm really scared that he's going to come after me.
Yeah, but I don't know if he is a Cowboy fan.
Yeah.
If he's not a Cowboy fan, then you really can't call him that, is he?
Well, look, he deserves it. I have to be a little bit rough with him, too, a little bit there.
Sean, we'll give you a break when your 16,000 chins are gone, Dr. Myth says.
Not a Cowboy fan. Are you sure about that, Cowboy fan?
He's not a Cowboy fan, so there you go. I didn't think he was a Cowboy fan. See, I like that one the best, Josh. Josh Lopez, our producer. I like that one the best, Josh. He does. Totally 100%. He's Drew Carey Jr. 100%. I like that one the best. Drew Carey Jr. Because you do look a lot like him. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know, I do. But we're not doing Whose Line Is It Anyway, so what do you expect?
Well, he's not doing it either anymore. You know that, right? You know who's the host of Whose Line Is It Anyway now, right?
I don't know. I haven't even watched it since like the late 90s.
Well, you got to watch the new ones that are on Fox.
Well, I didn't. Yeah, I'll have to take a look at that.
They have everybody there except for the host. You know who's the host? Aisha Taylor. She's funny as... What the heck was that? Was that your stomach?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was my stomach.
Wow, man, that thing was loud. It went... I was like, what
Hey,
the...
I'm having ginger ale. What do you expect? It's
Oh,
a hot
see,
day, but I'm waiting for it to cool down.
See? He's drinking ginger ale. That bubbly crap is going to make his stomach go...
No. It's not going to make my bubbly crap at all be a problem. Come on.
Yeah. Okay, 16 million chin boy. They're really giving it to you in the chat room, dude.
Yeah, that's probably what all they have is because they don't have anything else better to do. You got one person that sleeps in a bathroom named Dr. Myth, and then you got an encyclopedia man over there that, looks up sports stories.
Dr. Myth says it wasn't Sean's stomach, it was his chins.
Oh! 11 minutes after the hour. Jeez. We haven't even done one sports story, and yet you three are all giving me junk, and I know all the millions of people would. I'm used to it.
How great is that?
All right, here we go. First sports story of the day. Here we go, Jeff. Here's your favorite man that you don't even like to talk about. Jerry Jones showing with a young woman in scandalous leaked pictures. Leaked photos surfaced Tuesday of Cowboys owner Jerry Jones converting with young women in a sexually suggestive nature. Wow.
You want to know something?
What?
I was reading an article, and off to the right, my eye, instead of reading the article, saw a caption that said, Jerry Jones in precarious pictures with youngins. I said, I have to go and look at that because I can guarantee that Mr. Producer Man is going to put that in the show because he knows how much I dislike Jerry Jones and he's going to want to push my buttons. So I knew this was coming. Because I know how our producer works on this show. And he's trying to push me buttons.
Yeah, well, we try to figure it out because we know how much you really, really dislike the man.
I looked at the first picture, okay, and I'm still trying to figure out if the first picture is before or after the actual event while she was on her knees.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. That's number one. And the second picture, is the chick sitting on a toilet or is she just sitting on the ground with her pants like that? I couldn't really tell.
I couldn't really tell either, but actually, wait a minute. The second one is where the girl is actually sitting on the toilet because I see a picture. Excuse me, everybody, with her pants down.
Yeah, right. Her pants are down, and she's sitting on the toilet, and Jerry Jones is in there, right?
Right.
But you don't see his face in that picture, do you? So that could
No,
be,
you don't.
That could be anybody, correct?
Well, this could be bad. What might seem like a typical sex scandal, Jerry Jones is married, is actually a
50
vast
years.
conspiracy stretching across eons and involving Jupiter, allegedly.
For 50 years.
Ooh.
He's been
Wow.
married, man. For 50 stinking years he's been married. And now I saw that and I was like, I have to go I have to go and look at it. How can I not look at it?
Yeah.
It's Jerry Jones. I'd be a moron not to look at it because I know damn well that the people on my crew are going to make me talk about it because I know that they're going to want to push my buttons about it because I know how the crew works. I'm inside their
50 years, that's
minds.
Hey, leave me out of it, Dr. Myth. We're talking about Jerry Jones' wife, you cowboy fan. Stinking bastard.
Stinking
Jeez.
bastard. The
Yeah.
heck's the matter with you, you stinking bastard? Unbelievable. That's what I'm asking Jerry Jones. What the hell's the matter with you, you stinking bastard? What are you thinking over there? Huh? What are you thinking, Mr. Jones?
Jerry Jones saying probably saying, "Well, I'm rich. I've been very popular as Dallas Cowboys owner, president, and general manager for a quarter century. So I figure, why don't I just be creative?" He goes, "Here's another thing. At the age of 7, a small ball formed in my right hand. Upon moving to Denver in 1987, I saw a specialist to have it diagnosed. The report said completely coherently without the faintest sign of delusion. The doctor diagnosed it as ganglion cyst. Whatever. It was removed at the age of 11.
What are you talking about?
Oh, it's some kind of a procedure, like a doctor had to do something. But yeah, these are all the pictures of Jerry Jones flirting with this young
Okay,
girl.
hold
If I
on
were
one
Jerry
second.
Jones,
Hold
I'd be
on.
thinking about his marriage.
What the hell is what you were just talking about have to do with the pictures? Explain to me.
Well, it's part of the story that I was reading here about him talking about the age of 7. We got to go to our first commercial. We're already a minute behind.
Storms move fast, so we use the best technology. That includes Bosch Icon wiper blades.
They're beam blades with memory tension springs and an aerodynamic design,
which means they fit the curve of the windshield. Bosch Icon wiper blades wiped our windshield clean and outlasted any other blade we've used. In my opinion, the Bosch Icon wiper blades are the best blades out there. Bosch Icon wiper blades, how storm chasers clear the way.
Did you know that just 30 minutes a day of physical activity can improve your health and decrease your risk of heart disease? For every hour of regular, vigorous exercise, you gain 2 hours of life expectancy. So start walking for yourself and for your heart. Start walking with your family. You'll feel better. Start walking in your community. You'll lead happier and healthier lives. Start walking. Start something. Join the movement today. For more information on the American Heart Association's START program, visit startwalkingnow.org and start walking. Start something.
What kind of person gets to work in the sunshine instead of an office? This kind of person. I am the new way to work. I do have an office. I'm just not chained to it. It's a Regis office at one of the nicest addresses in the city. I don't have a lease, so I don't have to budget for stuff like phones, IT guys, and artwork for the lobby. Instead, I pay one low monthly rate that gives me a beautiful lobby that impresses my clients, a friendly receptionist, a fully furnished office, a place to meet, and a place to brainstorm with my fellow New Way to Workers. We wonder why more people don't realize that the new way to work is the best way to work. I come here because I want to, not because I have to. I am the new way to work, and I'd like you to join me.
Start now and get 1 month free. Call 1-800-OFFICES or visit regis.com/TV.
Hey everybody, this is Sky, and when I want to know what's going on in the wonderful world of sports, I tune to Sports World Radio.
All right, welcome back to Sports World Radio. Jeff Escow, Sean Mann, bringing you the fastest 2-hour sports talk on the internet each and every Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. on the east, 3 p.m. on the west, and if you live in the central.
Oh, you got to figure that out for
You
yourself.
think they can, Sean?
Yeah, they need to.
I don't know. But, yeah, I know they need to, but you think they can. That's the thing right there. I know they need to figure it out.
Blasted me in the chat room. That's all right.
I know they need to figure it out, but can they figure it out is the key right there. See, if Frank was in here right now, he'd be yelling at us about that. You know that. That's the advantage. That's
well,
the
he'll
advantage.
hit you with Central Time to tell us what time it is.
Yeah, screw him. Bag of wind. That's the advantage of not having him on the phone.
The next story we get to, away from Jerry Jones, to move to the Major League Baseball. The clinic owner tied to the MLB scandal to plead guilty. The former clinic owner accused of selling performance-enhancing drugs to Alex Rodriguez has agreed to plead guilty in what prosecutors called a wide-ranging conspiracy to distribute steroids to both Major League ball players and high school athletes. The charges filed Tuesday against former Biogenesis of America owner Anthony Bosch and 6 others marked one of the biggest salvos yet in a case that has dragged on for nearly 2 years. What do you think, Jeff? He's going to plead guilty.
About time. Hey, we're getting into this whole freaking thing, and now we can move on.
We can finally move on. And of course, since Alex Rodriguez, since his name hasn't been mentioned
I am
very
kind of
much,
tired of it.
now finally he is, since this guy with the Biogenesis did all this to him for performance-enhancing drugs.
I am kind of tired of it.
Well, think about it. It's almost coming, Jeff, to a year since Alex Rodriguez suspended for the entire 2014 season. He was able to play the remainder of 2013, but then now he's been suspended for his entire career. And the biggest question we have to ask ourselves is Alex Rodriguez a Hall of Famer? I'm going to vote and say no, and that they should take his ring away from him because of the use of performance-enhancing drugs.
Well, you know who started the whole thing, though, correct?
Yeah.
And they ripped him, and they ripped him, and they ripped him, and they ripped him, and guess what? He was absolutely right. It's finally over.
Thank goodness it is.
Because I'm getting tired of it. That's why we don't talk a lot about it on the show, because I'm tired of it, to tell you the truth.
Zuckart and others are accused of acting as recruiters, setting up meetings between the athletes and Bosch, who introduced himself as, quote, Dr. T, authorities said. Personal athletes paid up to $12,000 a month for the drugs provided by Biogenesis, while high schoolers paid up to $600 a month. All the clients were promised that the substances would not be found through drug testing, prosecutors said.
Wow.
Major League Baseball, Jeff also said, was not part of the criminal investigation and declined comment. No athletes were charged nor named in court documents, and it is unclear how many may have been involved. However, authorities said Bosch admitted to providing performance-enhancing drugs to 18 high schoolers. For now, Bosch has not pleaded guilty, and his bond was set, Jeff, at $100,000. He faces up to 10 years in prison.
He'll probably be there for 5.
Actually, it's been a year ago today when Alex Rodriguez got busted by Major League Baseball.
Yeah, he'll be back
next
next year, probably, for sure. You know? He'll probably be, you know? He'll definitely be back. He's only going to serve 5 years, I bet, out of that 10-year sentence. I'm telling you. You know?
Yeah, probably be like, they'll probably reduce it, probably be like 4 or 5 years that he'll be in jail, but I'm glad that we haven't done that. As you all know, Alex Rodriguez, in an interview in February of 2009, admitted that he took performance-enhancing drugs while he played with the Texas Rangers. And he has just been in so much trouble, Jeff, and I think what's going to end up happening is that he's not going to be a Hall of Famer. And can you think about it this way? When next year comes out, opening day 2015, everywhere he's going to go, people are going to have something they're going to say about Alex Rodriguez. And I know that the Yankees are probably thinking, boy, I can't wait till we can get these 3 years done, and then we don't have to deal with the guy who has caused too much trouble.
Yeah, I don't really care. That's one story that I don't really care about anymore. I'm just tired of it. I really am. And I hate to disappoint people, but I really am. And I can guarantee you I'm not the only one that feels that way. The story does absolutely nothing for me.
The next story that we get to, thank you, Encyclopedia Man. He sent me another good story when we were on commercial break. Bon Jovi's bid for the Bills rejected. We go back to NFL. Good news for the Buffalo faithful who want to keep the Bills in Buffalo, and bad news for Bon Jovi. According, Jeff, to the Toronto Sun, Bon Jovi's ownership group had their first bid rejected to buy the Buffalo Bills. The two main reasons for the decline: Bon Jovi's group didn't put up enough money and didn't assure officials that the team would stay in Buffalo.
Okay, and what about the other bids that they got? Do you know who they're from?
Not that I know of. All it says in the story is about Bon Jovi. How about this? Sources have told the Sun Media
Go ahead.
The Bon Jovi Toronto group's first bid actually was rejected last week by Morgan Stanley, the investment bank conducting the sale of the NFL club for the trust of Ralph Wilson.
Okay, now, here's the other side of the coin. Are you ready for this? Because this is not a one-sided coin. This is a three-headed coin. Okay, because Bon Jovi's group's not the only group going after this team. Okay? Donald Trump wants in. Donald Trump offered the Buffalo Bills a cash offer. Cash. Pay the whole thing with one check. A cash over, close escrow, boom, it's over, it's deal. I am the owner once I give you the money. That's it. That's what he wants. $1 billion for the Buffalo Bills. He offered him a cash offer of $1 billion. You take the check. It's over and done with. I take over the team right away. Providing the owners vote him in. That's the only stipulation. Now, there's a third party trying to be the owner of the Buffalo Bills, and it happens to be the owner of the Buffalo Sabres.
Yep.
Okay? He's offered the team $1.3 billion.
And the owner of the Buffalo Sabres, Jeff, is Terrence Pegula.
Terrence Pegula. Thank you, Sean. Because I read the article. I don't have it in front of me, but I knew it began with a P. Pegula. Terrence Pegula, correct?
Yeah, he's reportedly the front runner to purchase
because
the team,
he offered
while
more.
Donald Trump is also making his own push.
Yeah, because Pegula offered $1.3 billion. Donald Trump offered $1 billion. But Donald Trump's deal is an all-cash deal. You get everything, boom, bang, bam, one check, $1 billion, done. We close the deal. I sign the paperwork. I take over right away, pending ownership, approval. The vote. Pegula's is the way it's, offer his $1.3 billion is the offer is the way it's always done in the NFL. So Trump is trying to get in quicker, offering a all-cash deal. Hey, what's up there, Windbag? Windbag in the house.
Frank, good to see you, buddy. 28 minutes past the hour. Here's the big question. Frank, we're talking about this too. With the Buffalo Bills, okay, they're still trying to get this mess sorted out about who would be the team to buy the Buffalo Bills. My question is, will the Bills continue to stay in Buffalo, or in a few years do we see them possibly move out of Buffalo and go to another place?
Okay, I think the only people that are going to move Buffalo in a couple of years if they purchase them is the Bon Jovi group. I believe if Donald keeps the team, well, now, something, no, I take that back. I believe the only person that would keep the team in Buffalo It's what's his name? Pagula?
Yeah, Terrence Pagula.
Terrence Pagula, the owner of the Buffalo Sabres, I believe would be the only person to keep the team in Buffalo. I believe Trump and Bon Jovi's group, I believe they would move him out of Buffalo as soon as they were allowed.
My opinion, I think the Bills should just consider staying in Buffalo. It just seems like, I know, we'll talk more about the story after we come back from our second commercial break, but let me make this point clear. It just seems, Jeff, that with more NFL teams moving, like, the talk of the Raiders moving to San Antonio or maybe to L.A.
Because
or
you know
Jacksonville
something?
maybe moving out, I think the Bills should just be wise to say, you know what? We've been here a long, long time in Buffalo, in the state of New York. Why don't we just stay right there? I just don't think the Bills should move. It'd be so weird if the Buffalo Bills, if Buffalo didn't have an NFL team.
Well, if Trump gets the team, and as soon as he is allowed to move the team from Buffalo, he's going to move them to L.A. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. It will happen if he gets the team. If Bon Jovi gets the team, yeah, hold on 1 second. We'll get right going to the commercial break. If Bon Jovi owns the team, as soon as he gets a chance, his Toronto group is going to move that team to Toronto. No doubt about it, which I think is a stupid move. Okay, just my opinion. Just my opinion. I think it's a stupid move. And then you got to stick a team back in Buffalo? That's freaking crazy. Now, we'll run to a quick commercial break. You're listening to Jeff Escow and Sean Mann on
Sports World Radio.
Welcome to the Man Manual. Man comes with a multifunctional casing known as skin. It is remarkable. Warning, standard body wash can cause damage to man's skin. Maintain it properly with Dove Men Plus Care Body Wash. It cleans man and protects skin from dryness. This will keep man's skin remarkable, even under extreme testing. Dove Men Plus Care Body Wash. Skin care built in. Also, freshen man's exterior with new Aqua Impact Body Wash.
Why does consultant Jerry Howell stay at La Quinta?
Can you come back tomorrow?
Because only with La Quinta can Jerry instant hold the room tonight using just his phone number. And then power down for tomorrow on his pillow top bed. And when Jerry's refreshed, you know what he does?
We need ideas, people. Think.
Synergistic integration.
Genius.
He thinks outside the box.
I'm going for it. No.
La Quinta Inns and Suites take care of you so you can take care of business. Instant hold your next stay on your smartphone at LQ.com.
La Quinta.
Hi, I'm Montel Williams. Most of you know me as a talk show host, but I'm also an author, actor, single father of 4, a fitness writer, avid snowboarder, and I'm also a medical marijuana patient. Like many of the million people who are living with multiple sclerosis, I'm in pain every single day. And sometimes my nerves are so raw that if you brushed up against me in an elevator, I'd scream. I can't sleep at night from the pain, and sometimes the spasms in my legs are so intense they will wake me up throughout the night. I've tried the strongest prescription medications available, and I'm going to tell you, they do not work. In fact, they leave me in a stupor, and most of the time, it's impossible to even live your life. Now, I've tried medical marijuana, and I'm going to tell you something, it works. If you'd like more information about medical marijuana, you can contact the Marijuana Policy Project at mpp.org or call 1-877-JOIN-MPP.
Hey everybody, this is Sky, and when I want to know what's going on in the wonderful world of sports, I tune to Sports World Radio.
Welcome back to Sports World Radio. Jeff Escow, Sean Mann, bringing you the fastest 2-hour sports talk on the internet each and every Monday through Friday, right here on SportsWorldRadio.com, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. And if you live in the Central,
You got to figure that out for yourself. How many times do I have to tell you? Figure it out for yourself.
That's because I don't think they can.
33 minutes past the hour. When we last left to go to our second commercial break, we were talking about the Buffalo Bills and how this is kind of a big, big mess to determine who would be the owner to do it. And I'm sure we're all saying, let's pray that it's not Donald Trump, because then Donald Trump would say, we're going to take the football talents back to L.A. and become the Los Angeles Bills. That just sounds disgusting.
Where did you
if you get my drift?
Where did you get that football? I'm going to take the football talents back to L.A. What the heck? Where? You know,
it's a new phrase. I'm just trying to be creative with different phrases there, buddy.
You got to stop. You got to stop ripping off LeBron.
I guess so. I'm
taking the football talents to the hell out. What the? That's just hysterical.
Well, here, everybody, here's a serious question I got to ask all of you. Suppose the Buffalo Bills really do move out of Buffalo, and then they bring a football team back to Buffalo, and they have a team called Buffalo Bills, because that team that the Bills now could move and they could change the name. Like, what I'm getting at, okay, remember when the Browns moved to Baltimore and they became the Baltimore Ravens, and then the Browns came back in 99? Can we picture that possibly happening, Jeff? The Bills move out, and then years later, maybe like 5 or 6 years later, they bring a team back to Buffalo and call them Buffalo Bills?
Yeah, Cleveland. Move Cleveland to Buffalo. That would be great.
Who in here can't stand Donald Trump? That's what Frank says.
I don't think they're going to take Donald Trump's $1 million bid, cash offer bid, because deep down they know he's going to move it to L.A. Deep down they know that Bon Jovi's moving it to Canada. I don't think Pagnolia, whatever his name is going to move it. I don't think Terrence is going to move it. He's the Buffalo Sabres owner. I think he's going to keep it right there. So if they're smart, they give it to him. And his bid,
you got to go with Terrence Pegula because he's owner of the Buffalo Sabres.
And his bid is higher.
And that's a good connection there. Donald Trump, he is not the right man to do that. And I know Donald Trump before has tried numerous times to buy other ball clubs or buy other teams and tried to revitalize them and get back to the winning ways.
He always gets shut out.
If Donald Trump, stick with your millions of dollars.
He always gets shut out, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
He tried in baseball. He tried in football. Nobody wants him in his league. Nobody wants them in their league, do they?
Yeah, and I don't like the idea of Bon Jovi deciding that Canada should have an NFL team. I don't like this at all. I would like to say, let's just keep the NFL teams in America. Because what I'm getting at, remember a story we did, Jeff? We talked about Roger Goodell saying it's possible that in the foreseeable future that the NFL could be in London, England, because they've had great turnout at Wembley Stadium. That would be so stupid and dumb. Think about the teams that would have to travel to play a football team in London, and think about the London team having to travel to America to play games. I wouldn't like that at all.
I tell you one thing. I'm going on the can't play that week list, so I don't have to fly to London.
Well, I like what Frank says here in the chat room. He goes, I admire how Donald Trump makes his money, but stay out of sports. Absolutely. Just go back
Frank,
to being the popular millionaire or billionaire, how much money you got in you, Donald Trump.
Hey, Frank, anybody would be a better owner than Donald Trump. Any owner would be better than Donald Trump. Hey, you know something? I want to I don't know if Josh brought this to your attention, but I don't really give a fig Newton about it, so I'm bringing it to your attention.
Sure.
San Antonio Spurs hires the first full-time female assistant coach.
I saw that, Jeff, and I'm glad you brought that up as the next story as we move to the NBA. That. And I know Frank will talk more about it with the Bills when we bring him in second hour. Yeah, that's great. Because let me tell you, to hire a female coach in the NBA, the Spurs, an assistant coach, that's very rare, Jeff.
That's great.
You don't see that very often.
That's great. Becky Hammon is going to be the first female full-time NBA head coach. She's playing for the San Antonio Stars right now. And when she's done with them at the end of the season, she's retiring, and she's going to be on Popovich's bench come next year. How about that? First female full-time assistant coach, Becky Hammon. That's freaking great. And you want to know something else? Really quick?
Sure.
They also, where did I see it? I also saw it today. Another female referee got hired today. If I remember correctly, because I didn't read the article, but I saw it really briefly. In the Big 12 in football, Sean? First female referee in the Big 12 in football. I believe I saw that.
Well, I think this is great. You're realizing that it's very, very rare to see that.
I think that's fantastic. I'm looking for the article now, but I can't find it off. I don't see it off in my. I know I should have saved it. But how crazy is that? You got a female assistant coach in the NBA now, and now you got a female referee in the Big 12, I believe it is. It's either it's the Big 12. I think it's the Big 12. That's fantastic, ain't it?
Yeah, that is. It's very fantastic, and it's really it's great news. It helps them realize that, females can make a big difference in sports by coaching, officiating, or refereeing. Think about the NBA. They've hired female officials too.
They got female officials in there. Yeah, in fact, one of the female officials in the NBA, see, now you started it. I read the article. One of the female officials in the NBA came out of the closet, I should say, and got married. How about that?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, see, all her colleagues knew that she was a lesbian, but it's no big deal. Who cares? She's reffing in the NBA, and she just got married. I think that's fantastic.
What
More
about
power to
female GMs? That's what Frank says.
There already is one. She runs the Los Angeles Lakers. Her name is Jeannie Buss.
That's right.
So, yeah, there already is one. I got no problem with it. She's like an owner.
And we could see a lot more of this in the upcoming future. That's great in the present now, but what I'm getting at for the future is that you could see more of it, where you could see females be hired a lot more for coaching men in professional sports leagues. So that's a good story to come up with, Jeff. Glad you did that one. I was very happy about the Spurs doing that.
How long do you think it's going to take before a female becomes a head coach in the NBA?
I'm going to probably say between 5 or 10 years. I don't think it's going to be that long.
I mean, we got an assistant, so it shouldn't be that long, right?
Got an assistant. It won't be that long until you see a female coach in the NBA.
How great would it be when Popovich retires, he names her as his successor, and she becomes the first female head coach?
She could win more NBA championships, and you can realize the Spurs are the real deal, especially since they're the heavy favorites next year.
Oh, yeah, you bet.
But, well, here's what Frank says. We do have one argument here. How about women playing sports with men? I think it'll be somewhat of an argument.
You think it'll be an argument?
That's what Frank is saying.
Well, she's not playing. She's coaching.
Yeah.
She's not playing. She's coaching. So
being an assistant coach.
Yeah, I don't see how much of an argument it is if she's just coaching. She's not playing. Do you know what I'm saying, man?
I know what you're saying, too, but...
Okay, let's run to our first update of the day. This update is brought to you by shirtshopper.net. NFL season's coming, boys and girls. You got to be prepared. Got to have your shirts. Head on over to shirtshopper.net and get your NFL t-shirt today at shirtshopper.net. Take it away, Sean Mann, with the first update of the day.
All right, Jeff, thank you, everybody. We are 43 minutes past the hour on this Tuesday, August 5th, 2014. In Major League Baseball tonight, plenty of action to get to. We'll start in the American League. Interleague play, tonight's game, it'll be the Reds taking on the Indians. Back to the American League, it'll be the Tigers taking on the Yankees tonight. David Price getting his first start as a Detroit Tiger in the Bronx. The Orioles taking on the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays, of course, are a half game up on the Yankees and, of course, on the Royals. A couple games back, the Royals are for that second American League wildcard spot. The Rangers taking on the White Sox. Interleague play, Padres at the Twins. Rays at the Athletics. And interleague play, it'll be the Braves taking on the Mariners. In the National League, here are the games that we have. The Mets at the Nationals. Astros at the Phillies, Marlins at the Pirates, Giants taking on the Brewers, Red Sox at the Cardinals. Interleague play, that's a rematch of last year's World Series, but of course this year it's a little bit different. Both teams. One team is in contention in the National League Central, and the other one is rebuilding for next year. The Cubs taking on the Rockies, National League. Interleague play, it'll be the Royals taking on the Diamondbacks, and another interleague play matchup. Maybe it's a World Series possibility. The City of Angels matchup. The Angels, Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, taking on the Los Angeles Dodgers. In the NBA, the San Antonio Spurs have hired a female an assistant coach with Greg Popovich. Becky Hammon has decided that she will join Greg Popovich's staff to be an assistant coach. In the NFL, the Bears suspend Bennett for the fight with Fuller. After a big fight that happened, Bennett got suspended. And, of course, other news to report, Andy Dalton, of course, signing that 6-year, $115 million contract to be with the Cincinnati Bengals. When we come back from our commercial break, we're going to have more sports stories to get to. You're listening to Sports World Radio right here on Spreaker.com. And this update was brought to you by ShirtShopper.net. With the NFL season coming, make sure you can get your big T-shirts for the teams that you go for ShirtShopper.net. We'll be right back.
I had PTSD. Once I was back from Iraq, I was distant from everybody in my family.
We had a reunion of our unit, and you'd hear these spouses say, "Is your husband doing that? My husband's doing that too. I thought it was just us." And really understanding that, hey, this is a common experience.
I learned more to listen to what he was saying, and that made it easier for me to understand where his pain was coming from.
Warriors should know that resources are available. Learn more at realwarriors.net.
Every parent wants the safest and healthiest products for their family. That's why I created The Honest Company. I was just a concerned mom with a crazy dream. A wish that there was a company that I could rely on that did all of the hard work for me. I'm Jessica Alba, and The Honest Company was my dream.
LegalZoom has helped 1 million businesses successfully get started, including Jessica's. Launch your dream at LegalZoom today. Call us. We're here to help.
Confusion ever someone or have sudden you trouble had speaking, understanding?
Understanding trouble? Have you sudden have or speaking someone ever confusion?
Have you ever had sudden confusion, trouble speaking, or understanding someone?
It could be one of the 5 signs of stroke.
Sudden weakness or numbness of the face, arm, or leg.
Sudden trouble with vision in one or both eyes.
Suddenly having trouble walking or difficulty with balance.
Or a sudden intense headache that comes out of nowhere.
If you or someone you know has any of these symptoms, don't wait. Call 911 immediately. You could make a difference in someone's life, someone you love, maybe even your own.
It's late until, wait, don't too.
Don't wait until it's too late. Time lost is brain lost.
Find out more at powertoendstroke.org. Brought to you by the American Heart Association, American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
Hey everybody, this is Sky, and when I want to know what's going on in the wonderful world of sports, I tune to Sports World Radio.
Welcome back to Sports World Radio. Jeff Escal, Sean Mann, bringing you the fastest 2 hours of sports talk right here on SportsWorldRadio.com. Okay, Mr. freaking Josh Lopez over there saying, when's the next bet coming? Well, it's coming. As soon as I bust Sean's chops, it's coming. Hey Sean. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was going to say 48 minutes past the hour, and I know that we were on commercial break. Jeff, you had a little bone to pick with me or something?
What, did I say it to you at commercial break?
Yeah, you're going to bust my chops, or you have something that you have to talk with me about.
Yeah, I do believe I do. What in the wild world of sports is taking you so long?
With what? The getting into the NFL Pro Football Pick'em?
Yeah.
That's
See?
what it is.
I didn't even have to say
I am going
it.
to fix that after the show tonight, Jeff, and I will get in there.
I didn't even have to say it. You knew exactly what I was going to say. Right? Right, buddy?
Right, all right. I knew that was coming, though.
I didn't have to say a damn thing, did I? No, I didn't, because you knew I was coming right at you. People are signing up left and right. Hey, if you want to play in our NFL Pro Football Pick'em group, here, this is what you need to do. Send an email to SportsWorldRadio at swrshow@gmail.com. Send me an email at swrshow@gmail.com. In the subject line, just put Pick'em. In the body, put your name and your email, and I will send you the invitation. Send your email to swrshow@gmail.com. In the subject, put Pick'em. In the body, put your name and put your email address, and I will send you the invitation for you to join our NFL Pro Football Pick'em League. So get with it, kids, because we got a lot of people joining. The more, the merrier. Now, Mr. Josh, what are we betting this year on it?
Oh, well, he's right, because he wants revenge because he was so upset about having to wear that doggone stinking
He
Knicks
didn't
t-shirt.
even leave the profile picture up for a week, the rat bastard.
Yeah, I did notice that, Encyclopedia Man. Why didn't you leave your profile picture up for a week? I thought that was the bet.
Thank you very much. I'm not the only one who noticed it. Thank you. What was it up there for 2 days? Freaking hump. What a freaking hump. So he's a half a welcher. He got the shirt and took the picture.
He goes, yes, it was a week. I got the shirt on Tuesday. You didn't do the show, and that's your problem. Ooh.
Well, I did the show that week, and it was gone by the freaking weekend. Tuesday to Tuesday is a week in my freaking world that I live in. Tuesday to freaking Friday ain't no stinking week.
Wait a minute. Hold it, Jeff. On the other hand, somebody was out taking naps, so maybe Josh had every right to take it down on Saturday because somebody was out taking naps.
One thing has nothing to do with the other. He lost a bet. That's got nothing to do with anything else. One thing's got absolutely nothing to do with anything else. And Mr. Scott Reese, you come into this freaking chat room and you say hi to Josh and you say hi to Sean, and I have to say hi to you before you say hi to me? What's up with that? Unstinking believable.
So this whole segment must be busting each other's chops. Well, here's what Joshy says. Encyclopedia Man adds, "You are lucky I got the shirt anyway, Jeff." Ooh.
I know they don't make shirts in that freaking size, you rat bastard. See,
that's why shirtshopper.net has them all.
That's right.
There you go.
Exactly right. That's why it took him freaking 6 months to find the shirt, because he needs a freaking quadruple XL. For Jiminy Cricket's sakes.
Jeff, it was only for a few months that he needed a T-shirt because he made the prediction before the playoffs this year that the Chicago Bulls were going to go to the Eastern Conference Finals, not the NBA Finals.
Look at Josh. He
goes, and he lost the bet.
Josh goes, I saved it on Spreaker for a week. Actually, you've kept it on Spreaker for a week, because today's the week, right? Today's Tuesday, right?
Right.
So today is actually the week where it's already off Facebook, and it wasn't even on for a week. You rat bastard. Unstinking believable.
Is there a
hey,
call
Scott,
in number? That's
okay.
what Scott
If
says.
you guys want to get in touch with your show and get in on some of this good old razzing that we're having over here today, if you're not listening to us on SportsWorldRadio.com, head on over there, mute the show because you're already listening to us here on Spreaker. If you are at SportsWorldRadio.com, mute the show anyway. Click the little red button on the left-hand side that says Call Now. If you're a Skype user, click the little red button that says Call Now, and you'll be directed right to the show. If you're a non-Skype user, dial 619-663-3715. That's 619-66-3715. There's your numbers, you rat bastards. Look at this. Now we see, the problem is, look at all these freaking Bears and Blackhawk and Cubs and White Sox fans we have in here compared to me. What's up with that? Huh? Hey, do the Bears and the Patriots play each other this year?
Yes, the Patriots do play the Chicago Bears, and I hope the Patriots just destroy
what week
those
is that, Sean?
doggone Bears.
What week is that?
I gotta find that.
I'm hoping that the Bears kick the crap out of them.
Oh yeah, so they can get on me on the show and kick the crap out of me, right?
Yeah. If the Bears win that week, we're bringing Sean in. We're bringing Josh on for sure. Is Frank Sprinkle a Bears fan too?
Yes, he's a doggone Chicago Bear. Yeah, and then he hits me with saying, "Hey Sean, what happened on January 26, 1986, Superdome?" Yeah, 46-10.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, 46-10. Yeah. You know who you sounded like right there?
Right, what am I sound like?
Say that again, just the way you did.
Yeah, 46-10. Yeah, 46-10.
Yeah, 46-10. Yeah. You know who you sound like?
Who do I sound like, Jeff?
Rain Man. Yeah, 46-10. Yeah. Yeah, I can't drive in the street, but my daddy allows me to drive in the driveway. Yeah, 46-10. Yeah.
Oh, Rain Man. You had to hit me with
Rain
that.
Man.
Huh?
Yeah, that's who you sound like, there, Drew Carey Jr. You like that one, huh?
Yeah, wait till we bring Frank in. I can't wait to hear his.
Yeah, that big pile of bag of wind that we're bringing in. Coming in the next hour is our good buddy from Chicago, Frank Sprankle, who eats the deep dish. I'm going to ask him what he prefers, deep dish or thin. What do you prefer, deep dish or thin? Sean, what do you prefer, deep dish pizza or thin crust?
Give me a thin crust.
Damn Skippy. Give me a thin crust any day of the week. Deep dish pizza. Deep dish pizza. That is funny, isn't it?
It is.
I think that the people who invented pizza, the fuck, deep dish. That's all you invented was deep dish pizza. You want a real pizza? Go to New York City and get a thin crust pizza, you jackasses. You know what a deep dish pizza is?
Yeah.
I hate to inform you people who live in Chicago. You know what a deep dish pizza is?
Oh boy.
Have you ever been? Well, Sean's never been to New York. You know when I was growing up in New York, they had two types of pizza: the thin crust and the thick crust. But it wasn't made in a deep dish like it is in Chicago. Chicago is better street tough than New York. Oh, don't even get me started on that, Frank. You freaking pile of bag of wind.
Yeah, well, since we're talking pizza, remember, Jeff, how popular the New Yorker was? I said I've had the New Yorker for pizza in the late 1990s from Pizza Hut.
They had them called the Sicilians, man. They were freaking awesome. The thick freaking, they were the best. But I'm not a deep dish pizza. I'm a thin, crispy, crunchy, doughy crust. Yeah, that's how I like it. Crunchy. I like my pizza well done. You rat bastards.
New York is a dump with little skyline and a bunch of brats. That's what the Encyclopedia Man says.
That's because he's never been there.
And how come they call Chicago windy? They always call it the Windy City.
They call Chicago the Windy City, and New York City is called the city that never sleeps.
Or the Big Apple. That's what they call it.
Yeah, it's not shaped like an apple, I'll tell you that. It ain't shaped like an apple, that's for damn sure. We went there in 2011. Well, that wasn't the right time to go there. That was not the right time to be there, my friend. Not at all. 2011. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Hey, we got Frank Sprankle joining us in the next hour after we come back from our next break. That should be a lot of fun. You know what I like about Frank coming in?
What?
I don't have to talk as much. Frank pretty much takes over the airways. I kind of love it. That's why I call him the bag of wind, the wind bag. Because he does my job for me. Hey, starting, I believe, next week. I haven't talked to Josh about this in a while, but I think we're going to start it next week.
Mm-hmm.
Starting next week on Mondays and Tuesdays, we are going to be covering our football, doing our NFL stuff. And the reason why we're doing it on Mondays and Tuesdays is because on Mondays we have Nicholas Spiva, otherwise known as Nicholas Totoro. And on Tuesdays, we got Frank. So, like, on Mondays, we're going to do, like, the NFC North and the AFC North. And, like, on Tuesday, we'll do, like, the AFC West and the NFC West. And then the following Tuesday, we're going to see, until we're done. Give our record, tell us we're going to win division. It's going to be a lot of fun. And
that'll be great.
Yeah, and then don't forget to join our freaking Pick'em League, boys and girls. If you want to compete with the best, then you better come at us. Who won last year?
Last year, the winner of the Pro Football Pick'em before we run to commercial break was Ebo.
It was Ebo. Right.
I finished in second place. I almost had her, but then she
she
beat
got
me by a couple
Ebo's
games.
been a long-time fan and person of Sports World Radio. She's been here since the very beginning. We started way back when. So, come on, Joshy. Bring it. You ain't going to win. I want Scott in it. I want Sean in it. Josh is already in it. I want Frank in it. Nicholas is already in there. I am in there. We got a lot of people coming back from last year. We got a lot of new people coming from this year. Get ready for our NFL Pick'em League. If you want to play, send your emails to swrshow@gmail.com. In the subject, put Pick'em. In the body, just put your name and email, and I will send you the invite. See if you can beat me. Because there's only one person that's beaten me so far in the last several years, and that was Ebo. I've won several years in a row. Bring it, bitches. We're going to run to commercial break. You're listening to Jeff Escow and Showman on
Sports World Radio.
Storms move fast, so we use the best technology. That includes Bosch Icon wiper blades.
They're beam blades with memory tension springs and an aerodynamic design,
which means they fit the curve of the windshield. Bosch Icon wiper blades wiped our windshield clean and outlasted any other blade we've used. In my opinion, the Bosch Icon wiper blades are the best blades out there. Bosch Icon wiper blades, how storm chasers clear the way.
Confusion ever someone or have sudden you trouble had speaking, understanding?
Understanding trouble? Have you sudden have or speaking someone ever confusion?
Have you ever had sudden confusion, trouble speaking, or understanding someone?
It could be one of the 5 signs of stroke.
Sudden weakness or numbness of the face, arm, or leg.
Sudden trouble with vision in one or both eyes.
Suddenly having trouble walking or difficulty with balance.
Or a sudden intense headache that comes out of nowhere.
If you or someone you know has any of these symptoms, don't wait. Call 911 immediately. You could make a difference in someone's life, someone you love, maybe even your own.
It's late until, wait, don't too.
Don't wait until it's too late. Time lost is brain lost.
Find out more at powertoendstroke.org. Brought to you by the American Heart Association, American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Montel Williams. Most of you know me as a talk show host, but I'm also an author, actor, single father of 4, a fitness writer, avid snowboarder, and I'm also a medical marijuana patient. Like many of the million people who are living with multiple sclerosis, I'm in pain every single day. And sometimes my nerves are so raw that if you brushed up against me in an elevator, I'd scream. I can't sleep at night from the pain, and sometimes the spasms in my legs are so intense they will wake me up throughout the night. I've tried the strongest prescription medications available, and I'm going to tell you, they do not work. In fact, they leave me in a stupor, and most of the time, it's impossible to even live your life. Now, I've tried medical marijuana, and I'm going to tell you something, it works. If you'd like more information about medical marijuana, you can contact the Marijuana Policy Project at mpp.org or call 1-877-JOIN-MPP.
Hey everybody, this is Sky, and when I want to know what's going on in the wonderful world of sports, I tune to Sports World Radio.
Hey, welcome back, boys and girls. Jeff Escal, Sean Man, and it is the second hour, and it is Tuesday, so it is Frank Sprankle. What's going on there, you windbag?
Wait, do I get the windbag red carpet with the red carpet saying windbag in gold letters as I cross the carpet?
Windbag. No, you get nothing. You get me
Well,
saying,
I get nothing?
What's up,
Wait, here's what I get to do. I get to irritate you for an hour, right?
Yes. That's what you get, you windbag. You know what? You know what I like about you coming in here? And I said it, and you probably heard me say it. I don't
the fact that I am just that, a windbag,
No, the
and
fact
that
is
pretty much you're on mute for an hour.
Yeah, the fact that I don't have to talk a lot, I love it. Because you do it for me, and I enjoy the living crap out of it.
Wait a minute. I'm helping you in terms of your health because I'm not putting strain on your voice.
Correctamundo. You are. That's why I love having you in here. Yeah, same thing with Nicholas.
I'm sacrificing my health for the benefit of the health of one Jeff Escal.
That's right, because we do this show 5 days a week. I got to get a break sometime.
And you know what? Break you get whenever I'm present.
That's why I love having you on here. That's why I love having Nicholas on here, because he does the same thing for me.
Well, thank you. How honored we feel, and how honored Nicholas should be feeling. You know what? The best thing you possibly could have done, or maybe one of the best, was recruit Nicholas and I.
Yeah, I know. I'm not that stupid. I know. I'm pretty
Jeff,
smart.
I'd be careful about this. Look what Encyclopedia Man says. He goes, call Jeff master of predictions my ass.
I
and
am
he goes,
the master of
naps and predictions is back. LOL.
Okay, I am the master of naps, and I am the master of predictions. So yes, I am back.
Anyway,
okay.
Our story, Nick. Actually, Frank. 4:06 p.m. on the West, which makes it 7:06 p.m. on the East. We go to Major League Baseball now, and of course, as you know, Frank, tonight the Detroit Tigers. I believe it's going to be David Price going up in the Bronx tonight. You and I had met, and we talked about this too, Frank. Your thoughts about the Detroit Tigers? That you told us that the trade with Detroit really puts them at the top of the American League this year, and that we're going to possibly see a Detroit-Oakland.
I believe so because of the lineup. Now, we know Max Scherzer is the ace of that rotation, and Justin Verlander, his last start, over the weekend, pretty solid outing. He picked up the win. But here's the thing. You got Porcello in the rotation. I mean, if Verlander can step it up, you're looking at four guys that not only can help you coast in the postseason in terms of at least winning the American League pennant, I honestly think that this potentially puts the Detroit Tigers favorites to win the World Series. And, of course, coincidence, 30 years since the Tigers won the World Series, of course, 1984, defeating the San Diego Padres. But you already have three quality starters. You factor Price and what he potentially can be. But the key, gentlemen, is this. Justin Verlander has got to return to that Cy Young form of 2011-2012.
Well, you have to remember, who is the man that turned the Detroit Tigers around? You go all the way back to Jim Leland.
Absolutely. Jim Leland turns ball clubs around. That's what he does.
He's a great manager.
He did it in Pittsburgh. He did it with the Marlins. He did it with the Tigers. You know what? I see Scott Reese, a buddy of mine, and I've said this. If there is one guy that I would want to manage a ball club, if I were given an expansion franchise in Major League Baseball, Jim Leland would be at the top of my list in terms of one guy that I would running my organization.
He's done a sensational job when Leland came there. Remember, it goes back to 2006 when he turned the Tigers around. They went all the way to the World Series, ended up losing in 5 games in the Fall Classic to the St. Louis Cardinals. And then, of course, they made it in 2012 to the World Series, of course, got swept by San Francisco. But what he has done is he's gotten the Detroit Tigers very far. And I've been saying it all along. If the Tigers and the Oakland Athletics play again this year, I think Oakland's saying, can we finally get the monkey off our back? Can we finally get past this Detroit Tiger team because they swept us in 06 in the ALCS. They beat us in 2012 in 5 games, and they beat us last year in 5 games. If I'm the Oakland A's, you better be ready this time and think, hopefully, this is the year that you can beat the Detroit Tigers. They're a dangerous team. The Tigers have owned the Yankees in the postseason, and they have owned the Oakland Athletics. But
go ahead, because I want to talk about the Oakland A's here and what they were able to acquire in John Lester.
We moved to that as the next story.
There was rumor, Sean. There was rumor the night before the trading deadline. This was Wednesday night, that John Lester was very close to staying within the division and going to the Baltimore Orioles. With some ball clubs, there's an unwritten rule here that you do not trade one of your top players to a team within your division. When I saw the speculation, the strong speculation that Lester was heading to Baltimore, I had to do a double take here. The fact that Lester was traded, not surprising, but if he were traded to Baltimore, and yes, Baltimore is a team in contention. Surprisingly, they didn't make any deals, but that would have been surprising if Lester had gone to Baltimore in the first place. But look at what Oakland had to give up just to get Lester. We're talking about power. We're talking about power in the lineup. Cespedes. I mean, look at the Red Sox here. The Red Sox, while they're not going to the postseason, much less repeat as World Series champions, they're certainly looking for the future. And if you're Cespedes, you got him for next year as well. And what about Lester? Does he come back to Boston? Who knows?
To answer your question, Frank, I think it's possible that Lester will come back to the Red Sox. I know he had expressed a couple weeks ago saying, if they move me and they trade me, I still would welcome re-signing a new deal with the Red Sox. So we'll see what happens. Yeah,
But let me say this about Lester. Go ahead, because I'm going to say this about Lester. Financially, Financially, this is the biggest point in the career of John Lester, as mentioned, from a financial standpoint here. Because if Lester can put up some positive numbers for the A's, help them to at least an American League pennant, dominant in the postseason, then the value of John Lester is going to go up in terms of money. He's going to make more money than Clayton Kershaw here.
Other big news to report from the trade deadline. I know that I'm glad to have Frank on for the second hour for this. From the Red Sox, John Lackey, of course, went to the Cardinals for Alan Craig. Stephen Drew, and how about this? The Red Sox and Yankees don't make a lot of trades, but they did trade. Stephen Drew went to the Yankees for infielder Kelly Johnson. Your take on these trades, Frank?
Well, let me just say about as far as Lackey going to the Cardinals, I want to ask. Let me ask you a question. With Lackey going to the Cardinals, you're talking about your number 1 in Lester, your number 2 in Lackey. Both of those starters are going to other teams. Now, Grant, we know the Red Sox, they're not going anywhere in terms of any contention here.
No.
But how surprised were you? Because I cannot recall a trading deadline ever in which you've had 2 top starters traded on the same day. I have never recalled that.
Well, here's the way I look at it. Encyclopedia Man, you bring up a good point. Buck Holtz might leave too. The Red Sox did something that was really, really big. They pretty much cleaned house with their starting pitching. Now, there are a lot of big starting pitchers names that are going to be on the free agent market this offseason. I expect with the Red Sox, I'm very proud of them. And what I'm trying to tell you is that they realize that they can fix the areas and be a strong team next year. Victorino, bad news, he was out for the year because of a back injury. So it's a good thing. And they're realizing that it's kind of like 2012 all over again when they were out of it. And then that blockbuster trade that they made in August of 2012.
Okay, and let's talk about Alan Craig here. I mean, what about Alan Craig? He's acquired by the St. Louis Cardinals. Now he's heading to the disabled list. But the fact of the matter is, when acquiring Alan Craig, you're looking to the future, at least Ben Cherington, the general manager of the Red Sox. Look, I think he realizes the possibility of getting at least Lester or Lackey back next year, considering that their contracts are up at the end of the season. He is going to make a strong push to get at least one of these guys. But like Cespedes, he is trying to stack the lineup with bats, and he is doing so with Craig. So overall, from the standpoint of your Red Sox and what Ben Cherington has done, I would have to say that while the Red Sox have been sellers, I like to call them sellers with interest, because you think of a team at the trading deadline in which they will trade away top talent for another team's top minor league talent, look to go young, and hope to build with youth. But that's not the case with the Red Sox. They're looking near term. They are looking at stacking up lineup with guys with all-stars. Craig has been an all-star. We know about Cespedes and him being in the all-star. Yeah, think about
they'll
that.
Be back next. They'll be back.
That's my
next
point. That's
year.
why I call them sellers with interest. That's the way I see it.
Well, and Ben Cherington, of course, has received a lot of criticism because he hadn't been doing very much. Remember, in the offseason, losing Salta Lamacchia and Ellsbury proved to be a big reason for them. But they realized, he probably thought, I like the team I have, let's go with them and see what we got. And, of course, they relied too much on rookies. But now, since he's cleaned house with the starting pitching, that's good. It's just like, 2 years ago. They were way, way out of the pennant race. They made that deal with the Dodgers, and that really opened things up. And they had the money to spend to put a good ball club on the field for 2013. The way I look at it, they won't make the playoffs. But once they make the moves, they'll clean house, and they will be back in 2015. There's no question about it. And, Frank, I want to say this real quick before we head to break.
Sure.
Your thoughts on Stephen Drew going to the Yankees for infielder Kelly Johnson. Were you surprised to see a trade between these two rivals, the Red Sox and the Yankees?
When I saw – hey, I was surprised that two of a team's top starters were traded. But – the Yankees and Red Sox making a trade, obviously that's something that's rare. And it's like I said, it's almost the unwritten rule here. So, yeah, I was somewhat shocked. But then again, the Red Sox know that they're not going anywhere. However, it's kind of strange they're helping the Yankees because the Yankees are still in contention for at least one of the two wild card spots. I don't see them obviously getting the divisional crown, hard to believe. This is a two-team race between the Blue Jays and the Orioles. Kind of hard we're saying that because it seems that it's Red Sox, Yankees, Yankees, Red Sox, however you want to slice it. So, yeah, I was surprised a little bit. But Stephen Drew, I think it was a good trade because it's going to help the Yankees in their hopeful pursuit of getting those two wild card spots. Because remember,
I'm going to say real quickly before we go to commercial, the Angels, it's a lock for them. I know they're battling it out with the Oakland A's, but Oakland and the Angels are going to be in. I think it's going to be still very, very tough for the Yankees to get that second wild card spot because there are 5 or 6 other teams right there battling it out for that second wild card spot. And on that note,
go ahead.
We have to run to a commercial break. And when we come back, we'll talk more about this competitive Major League Baseball race.
This message brought to you by FEMA. Home fires occur most often in winter. Keep anything that can catch fire at least 3 feet from heating equipment. And never use an oven to heat your home. Stay in the kitchen when frying, grilling, or broiling food. Turn space heaters off when you leave the room or go to bed. Make sure all vents are clear of snow and ice to allow carbon monoxide to vent outside. Have your furnace, heating system, and chimneys serviced each year by a qualified professional. Learn more at www.usfa.fema.gov.
Storms move fast, so we use the best technology. That includes Bosch Icon wiper blades.
They're beam blades with memory tension springs and an aerodynamic design,
which means they fit the curve of the windshield. Bosch Icon wiper blades wiped our windshield clean and outlasted any other blade we've used. In my opinion, the Bosch Icon wiper blades are the best blades out there. Bosch Icon wiper blades, how storm chasers clear the way.
What kind of person gets to work in the sunshine instead of an office? This kind of person. I am the new way to work. I do have an office. I'm just not chained to it. It's a Regis office at one of the nicest addresses in the city. I don't have a lease, so I don't have to budget for stuff like phones, IT guys, and artwork for the lobby. Instead, I pay one low monthly rate that gives me a beautiful lobby that impresses my clients, a friendly receptionist, a fully furnished office, a place to meet, and a place to brainstorm with my fellow New Way to Workers. We wonder why more people don't realize that the new way to work is the best way to work. I come here because I want to, not because I have to. I am the new way to work, and I'd like you to join me.
Start now and get 1 month free. Call 1-800-OFFICES or visit regis.com/TV.
Hey everybody, this is Sky, and when I want to know what's going on in the wonderful world of sports, I tune to Sports World Radio.
All right, welcome back to Sports World Radio. Jeff Escow, Sean Mann, bringing you 2 hours of sports talk each and every Monday through Friday right here on SportsWorldRadio.com. In our second hour of every show on Tuesday and Thursday, our good friend Frank Sprankle comes on in. He's here with us now. All right, Sean, what's the next topic, buddy?
The next story, Frank, the floor is yours. You had a story that you wanted to talk about real quickly before we debate about the second American League wild card at 19 minutes past the hour.
Well, it doesn't involve any trades. I mean, let's stay along the lines of Major League Baseball here, but it is about my favorite ball club, the Chicago Cubs, as everybody knows, and that is the guy who is penciled second in the lineup, playing second base, and his name is Javier Baez. Now, if you look at the Chicago Cubs, and under the regime of Theo Epstein, and obviously we know about his success in Boston, likewise General Manager Jed Hoyer, these are guys that are looking opposite of what the New York Yankees have accomplished, and that is build a free agent market. One thing about the Chicago Cubs, this is a team that has the philosophy of building players throughout the minor league system, and one of the most anticipated players in that system, and he has been for the last couple of years now, has been Javier Baez, who will be starting at second base, as mentioned, penciled in number 2 in the lineup. And there is a lot of anticipation about Baez, considering that he has just played very well over the last couple of years in the minor leagues. I wouldn't say that he has been the most dominant player minor league-wise in the Cubs system. That has been Chris Bryant, who has just been tearing the cover off the ball in AAA Iowa, and it just makes you ask the question, when is Bryant going to get the call up? Because I got to be honest, I was surprised that Javier Baez was getting the call up this soon. Perhaps September, but I didn't even think he would be part of the 40-man roster. I honestly thought that they wanted to give him more reps, get him up next year, have him be on the opening day roster come 2015. But the fact that he is making his debut before the September call-ups here, that comes to me as a shock. But then again, maybe we shouldn't be shocked at all. The Cubs, what postseason hopes do they have? Absolutely none, unless you're looking ahead toward what will be maybe 2 years down the road, 3 years down the road. So as far as Javier Baez coming up, I actually think it's a good idea. He is batting second. You have young Cubs. You have Alcantara batting first. He's going to be in center. And Anthony Rizzo playing first, as well as Starlin Castro at short. So those are the top 4 in the Cubs lineup, and those are young players, gentlemen.
Jeff, your thoughts about the Cubs? What do you think it'll take for them to get back to the playoffs? They won't make it this year. Do you think you agree with Frank that they're maybe like 2 or 3 years away from making the postseason again?
I figure about 5 years. They stink.
Yeah, they still have, Frank, they've added some pieces, and Theo Epstein knows that when he came in and took over as the, vice president and general manager of the Cubs after 2011 season when he left my team for yours, he realized that it wasn't going to be easy. A lot of Cub fans were going to say, oh, it's going to be no problem at all. We're going to get back to the winning ways. The Cubs are back. But no, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. They need some pitching and hitting, but I know for Cub fans, they're just itching for that misery to come to an end.
Oh, absolutely. And I was talking with somebody about this earlier today, guys. And Sean, you're going to love me for what I'm about to say here. But if you look at the model organization in Major League Baseball, and no, I'm not sucking up to you, Sean. I don't suck up to anybody. I am going to say this. It is the Boston Red Sox. Because look at what John Henry has done to that organization since taking over. But it's not just the fact that they won the 3 World Series titles. Okay, they win 3 World Series titles, but how do they get it? They do so by modernizing Fenway. I mean, look at Fenway, the renovations, the signage, the upgrades. That's what the Cubs are looking at in terms of hopefully building a ball club that at long last is going to end what is 106 years of futility of not winning a World Series, and that is by upgrading Wrigley Field. And there's a lot of controversy considering you have the rooftop owners behind Sheffield Avenue and behind Waveland Avenue, right in left field. That's a whole nother issue within itself. But Wrigley Field, the renovation project, is very similar to the Fenway Park renovation project. And look at what it has meant for the Red Sox in terms of income for the ball club. And that's what the Cub organization under Tom Ricketts as owner, and he has been since 2009, that is what they're hoping will translate into success when it comes to the Cubs at long last experiencing what the Red Sox have done 3 times, but in 2004 winning their first World Series title in what was then 86 seasons.
Yeah, and you have to know that when John Henry, Larry Lucchino, Theo Epstein, and television producer Tom Warner bought the Red Sox in 2002, their goal was to make the promise to Boston and all of New England to bring a World Series championship there, and it took 2 years for them to get it done. And yeah, they worked really hard with Fenway. They added new seats to the Monster. In 2003, the beginning of that season, they had the longest active sellout streak until 2012, and then 2013, that stopped. They cut back. And you realize that it's always hard to keep sellout streaks going for a long time. You know, it's like, look at the Indians. In the 90s, they had some of those great teams, and they always sold out games at Jacobs Field. So they don't last forever. So if the Cubs try to do it, I'm just going to say, if the Cubs do this, they're realizing, let's see if we not only can bring a World Series championship back, but let's start selling out. After all, they've had their 100th anniversary this year of Wrigley Field.
And I was at the birthday game. Scott Reese, who's in the chat room, was there as well. And what was sad about the 100th birthday game is that it did not sell out. Sure, there was the feeling of it having been like almost like an opening day or a postseason atmosphere. And there were a lot of people there. It was mainly filled, but it wasn't a sellout. Kind of a surprise that you're celebrating the 100th birthday of one of baseball's most crowning jewels, and the game doesn't sell out. That is sad, and quite honestly, that's appalling, because you figure with the history of Wrigley Field, with the mystique of Wrigley Field, its 100th birthday, I know it was in Wednesday, I know it was April 23rd, midweek, but the fact that you don't sell out that game, to me, that doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense at all. The next story that we get to, Frank, we had a debate about this.
Oh, I love debates. You know, Sean, I love debates.
This one is about the second wild card spot in the American League and the National League. My opinion, get rid of the extra wild card. I do not like it one bit. It's been a mistake from day one. It just makes the playoffs in October go way, way, way too long, and it goes all the way to early November. I think,
Sean, what you call a mistake, I call a genius on the part of Major League Baseball. Pure genius, because there is nothing like that one game of intensity, the mindset, the anticipation, one and you're done. Unlike your divisional series, league championship series, and your World Series, best of 5, best of 7, best of 7. It's one and you're done. Okay, Nicholas, how about one of the greatest Sean, how about one of the greatest one-game playoffs of all time, 1978? Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, that does ring a bell, but
wasn't that a great game? I'm not for your Red Sox, obviously, not for you personally, but wasn't that one of the greatest?
Don't remind me.
Yeah, okay, but just the intensity of that game.
Real quickly, Jeff.
Frank, you know why? It was a great game?
But Bucky frickin' Dent?
No, you know why it was a great game? Because it doesn't freaking happen all the time, and it didn't happen all the time. Now it happens all the time, and it's ridiculous.
And you know what? Because
that's Jeff's opinion.
All right, why don't you look at the number of one-game playoffs from 1995 on? We had the Angels and the Mariners meet for the AL West in 1995 at the Kingdome. Then 3 years later, and I remember this very well, I tried to get tickets. It was impossible. The Cubs and the Giants scored the wild card in 1998. Then the following year, you had the Reds and the Mets for the wild card in 1999. And then you had, of course,
the one with 99,
the Padres, Rockies. Go ahead.
The one with 99, that was unbelievable, because the Mets during that time trailed the Cincinnati Reds by 2 games in that National League wild card, and the Mets needed a miracle. They had to sweep the Pittsburgh Pirates, and the Brewers played spoiler to beat the Reds, and they did 2 out of 3. And then the Mets went into Cincinnati, and they won 5-0 in that game. And then, yeah, you had a wild one back in 2007. I know, Jeff, that still brings nightmares to you, between the Padres and the Rockies. And I agree with Jeff says that it only happens once in a while when you have 2 teams tied for a wild card spot. Why bring an extra wild card and do it every year?
I'll tell you why.
That is the most
takes the fun out of it.
Stupidest thing
You
that
should
Bud
win your
Selig has done.
division. You should win your division in order to go to a playoff series.
Yeah,
Bud
Pittsburgh.
Bud Selig has screwed this game up enough.
He
and
has
for him
in some
to do
ways,
that,
yes.
oh, come on. For him to add the extra wild card and for him to say the winner of the All-Star game gets home field advantage in the World Series, that gives advantage to the wild card teams. It's stupid and dumb. Jeff can even agree with me. Jeff, go ahead. You speak.
And the only reason why they're doing it is to make freaking money.
Okay, let me tell you something about the All-Star game stipulation. That I'm in agreement with Sean. That stipulation is utterly dumb because if you're part of the winning league, in which case it was the American League in Minnesota, a lot of these guys aren't going to be playing the World Series anyway.
Get rid of
so
the
tell me
wild
how
card.
you benefit. I agree there. That is the most stupidest of all stipulations. So, Sean, there is something on this that you and I actually agree. The world's coming to an end. We're in agreement on something here in terms of the baseball postseason format here. But as far as the wild card, the wild card playoff, it has meaning because being in second place doesn't guarantee that you're going to be part of the postseason party in Major League Baseball. It means that winning your division has a ton of meaning when it means getting to that league championship or that league divisional series.
You want to get into playoffs? Win your freaking division. Go back to 4 teams and get rid of the freaking wild cards altogether.
Oh, so you think it should be the 1969 to 1993 format?
Exactly.
Play
All
the
right, let
league
me ask you this.
championship series and then play October baseball and get the World Series done in middle or late October. That's the way they always that's what they did from 16 or of course for a long time after the teams with the best records won, they just automatically played the World Series in October.
Hey, we got
what though? I can see what by the way Scott is putting here in the chat room. Cut the season down to 140 games. To a point I can see that because who cares about seriously, besides me, a lot of people don't typically care about Major League Baseball in October during the football season. That you have to admit.
Yeah, no, I admit that. Hey, we got to run to our second and final update of the day. This update is brought to you by Keurig.coffeemachines.com. For all your coffee products, you need a coffee machine, you're looking for coffee, head on over to KeurigCoffeemachines.com. Brewing perfection, one cup at a time. That's KeurigCoffeemachines.com. Take it away, Sean Mann, with the last update of the day.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, everybody. 31 minutes past the hour, August 5th, 2014, Tuesday. We're going to start with Major League Baseball. We're going to move to the National League right now. Top of the second in the nation's capital, the Mets lead 2-0. Bottom second, Phillies up 1-0 against the Astros. Top second, Marlins and the Pirates. That game is scoreless at 0-0. The Marlins are threatening, and however, in the top half of the second. Other games, the Giants at the Brewers, interleague play. It'll be the Red Sox taking on the Cardinals, and a rematch of last year's Fall Classic. Back to the National League, the Chicago Cubs taking on the Rockies. Interleague play, Royals at Diamondbacks, and another interleague play matchup. It'll be the Angels taking on the Dodgers. Let's move to the American League, shall we? Interleague play up in Cleveland, Ohio. The Reds and the Indians are evened at 1 apiece. The Detroit Tigers, with David Price on the mound, they have struck for 1 run. They lead 1-0 against the Yankees. Big game in the American League. With the Orioles leading the American League East by 2.5 games over the Blue Jays, this is big because if they can get further ahead, Baltimore could very well take the American League East, and the last time that happened to the O's was 1997. The Blue Jays, of course, leading the Yankees by a half game, of course, are battling with Baltimore, trying to win their first American League East since 1993. Other games, the Rangers at the White Sox, Padres taking on the Twins, interleague play, Rays at the Athletics, and another interleague play matchup, the Braves taking on the Mariners. And by the way, that Orioles-Blue Jays game tied at 0 right now. In the NFL, the Bears have suspended Bennett for the fight that they had with Fuller. Dallas Cowboys news, Jerry Jones, the owner, president, and general manager, was actually thrilled about a melee that happened. We're going to run to commercial. This update was brought to you by KeurigCoffeemachines.com. Right back after this commercial.
Welcome to the Man Manual. Man comes with a multifunctional casing known as skin. It is remarkable. Warning, standard body wash can cause damage to man's skin. Maintain it properly with Dove Men Plus Care Body Wash. It cleans man and protects skin from dryness. This will keep man's skin remarkable, even under extreme testing. Dove Men Plus Care Body Wash. Skin care built in. Also, freshen man's exterior with new Aqua Impact Body Wash.
Why does consultant Jerry Howell stay at La Quinta?
Can you come back tomorrow?
Because only with La Quinta can Jerry instant hold the room tonight using just his phone number. And then power down for tomorrow on his pillow top bed. And when Jerry's refreshed, you know what he does?
We need ideas, people. Think. Synergistic integration. Genius.
He thinks outside the box.
I'm going for it. No.
La Quinta Inns and Suites take care of you so you can take care of business. Instant hold your next stay on your smartphone at LQ.com.
La Quinta.
Hi, I'm Montel Williams. Most of you know me as a talk show host, but I'm also an author, actor, single father of 4, a fitness writer, avid snowboarder, and I'm also a medical marijuana patient. Like many of the million people who are living with multiple sclerosis, I'm in pain every single day. And sometimes my nerves are so raw that if you brushed up against me in an elevator, I'd scream. I can't sleep at night from the pain, and sometimes the spasms in my legs are so intense they will wake me up throughout the night. I've tried the strongest prescription medications available, and I'm going to tell you, they do not work. In fact, they leave me in a stupor, and most of the time, it's impossible to even live your life. Now, I've tried medical marijuana, and I'm going to tell you something, it works. If you'd like more information about medical marijuana, you can contact the Marijuana Policy Project at mpp.org or call 1-877-JOIN-MPP.
Hey everybody, this is Sky, and when I want to know what's going on in the wonderful world of sports, I tune to Sports World Radio.
Hey, what's up, boys and girls? Welcome back to Sports World Radio. Jeff Escow, Showman, and Frank Sprankle sitting in with us like he does each and every Tuesday in the second hour of the show. All right, Shoney, what do you got for me next, buddy?
The next story that we get to, we move to the NFL, and a story that we talked about when, Frank, you came in. Bon Jovi was trying to buy the Buffalo Bills, but that deal was rejected. And I agree with you totally, Frank, about what you said in the chat room, that why would anybody want to have Donald Trump buy an NFL or a sporting organization?
Donald Trump, let's see. As I stated earlier, didn't he help kill the USFL? Does anyone remember the United States Football League?
Yes, yeah, and he tried to destroy that. And remember, Donald Trump has tried a lot to buy a sports team, and he's always failed, and his deal's gotten rejected. If I'm Donald Trump, I'd stay out of sports officially and forever.
If I'm Donald Trump,
because he doesn't have the experience.
No, do you know what I would do if I were Donald Trump when it comes to sports? Here's what I would do if I were Donald Trump when it comes to sports. And it is 4 words. Be a fan.
Be a fan is right.
Be a fan. You don't
Jeff
need to be involved in ownership.
Even Jeff knows perfectly well that even on TV, he's seen Donald Trump go to a lot of New York Knicks games, and he's even been to the old Yankee Stadium. He could just go and enjoy watching his favorite sports teams in New York City.
One thing I've heard about Donald Trump is that this guy is obsessed with work. Seriously, this guy does not get a lot of sleep. He gets up early and he goes to bed late because all he focuses on is work. Why do you think his marriages haven't worked out? Seriously, that's
true.
What I've heard. Donald Trump, you know what? I've heard. I actually heard many years ago, one of his kids said, well, we didn't have a great relationship growing up with our dad because all he did was work.
My question to you, though, Frank, you said in the chat room, the Buffalo Bills move out of Orchard Park, New York, and move out of Buffalo in the state of New York. You said it'll be a tragedy for the Buffalo.
Oh, absolutely it'll be a tragedy.
Why? Here's your opinion. Why do you say that?
Well, if you take a look at the history of pro football, we owe a great gratitude to the American Football League, considering that if you look at guys such as Lamar Hunt and Bud Adams and Ralph Wilson, and then eventually guys such as Mark Davis, these guys meant a lot to the emergence of pro football because the AFL is the biggest reason why the AFL is the grand league, the most popular sports league there is today. it definitely has to do with the merger between the AFL and the NFL. It's amazing. Lamar Hunt wanted to invest in football, and he had other guys such as Wilson and all these other guys that became AFL owners that wanted to be a part of the NFL. But you know what? The NFL rejected any bids of expansion. So you know what Lamar Hunt does? He comes up with the concept of, well, if we can't join them, then we'll just form our own league. And it took for them to get respect. But in the end, that respect has paid off to what is America's obsession, and that is professional football. And the Buffalo Bills are part of it. They're an original AFL team. I mean, that's why I've already said this, and I stated in the chat room earlier, being that Houston got an NFL team in 2002, everything should have been done similar to what it was in Cleveland after the 1995 season, where you had the name, the colors, and the uniform stay in Cleveland. That should have been the case with the Oilers after Bud Adams left.
Yeah, and you have to remember this, too, that the Buffalo Bills know perfectly well that that would be a big mistake to their fans. I'm just so tired of the fact that you're hearing all this possibility with the NFL about teams possibly moving. I mentioned in the chat room about how London is wanting to have an NFL football team and that Roger Goodell would be open to the idea. I disagree with it a lot. Think about the flying and the transportation.
It's hectic. Oh, gosh, ridiculous. What do you do if
flying
you're
all the way across the Atlantic Ocean to go play a football game at Wembley Stadium?
Across the United States? What happens if you're the San Francisco 49ers? What happens if you're Jeff the San Diego Chargers? Flying
or the Oakland Raiders or the Seattle Seahawks?
You're on the Pacific Coast. All the teams on the Pacific Coast, or even the Denver Broncos or the Arizona Cardinals. You're flying pretty much across the country. In some cases, you are flying across the country. How many hours to fly across the country and then across the pond to play a game in London?
Yeah, and they have played plenty of games in the continent of Europe and in the continent of Asia. Because the reason why I say Asia is because I remember that they played preseason football games in Tokyo, Japan.
Right.
But
that's 1 year in the mid-'90s, I would like to say. Let me ask you this. Would you be in favor of playing preseason games internationally? Because I would. It's just preseason.
And it's just one game. It's not like you're playing in London where you got to play back-to-back every single week.
Did you know London, Jeff, has made a bid for the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I know that.
London has already made a Super Bowl bid.
My honest opinion is the NFL should just flat out get rid of playing games at Wembley Stadium.
Regular season games.
Well, it's just too much of a hassle. Having to fly all the way there. You have to practice. You have to fly there. You have to play a game in October, and then boom, here you are having to fly all the way back.
Let me ask you guys this question.
I don't like this at all.
Let me ask you this, and I've talked with many people about this. What happens if you're an owner of an NFL team and you are forced to give up a home game? Would you do it? I'm talking about your stadium concessions, your parking, the businesses around you suffer because you lose that home game to London. Would you want to do it? I wouldn't.
Well, whatever team is home at London is doing it. Correct?
Well, I don't know. Well, yes, but I wouldn't want to give up the home game.
No, I wouldn't either. But whichever team is the home team when they play in London, that team's losing the money, right?
That's my point, and that's why, as an owner, Jeff, would not want to give up that home game.
I agree.
I wouldn't mind. Here's the deal. If you want to play in London, fine. I will send my team to London for that one game. Now they're playing 2 games this year, but I'll go to London for one of those 2 games on the account that we're the road team.
What a joke that is, and what a joke we have for an NFL commissioner and Roger Goodell.
What do you think about? Go ahead.
Think about this. We have 2 games he's going to play at Wembley Stadium up in London, England.
Too much.
He's done it. Yeah, he's done a terrible job with playing the NFL games on Thursday nights, the first 8 weeks on CBS, and then the other remaining weeks on the NFL Network. Not to mention the fact that on Saturday nights and around December, before Christmas time, is when they're going to play NFL games on Saturday. I think it's becoming too much, and it's becoming like an everyday thing. Sometimes because what I'm saying, Frank, I wish they could just keep it with the routine of just doing Sunday and Monday and not.
Okay, but let me
playing
ask you this though.
And not
until
playing
2005,
Saturday until like middle or late December.
Until
Go ahead,
2005, Jeff, and let me get your opinion on this too, Jeff. After the college football season, and this was always in December, you would have obviously your games on Sunday, your Monday night game, but remember in December, you would have the 2 Saturday afternoon games. I used to enjoy those 2 Saturday afternoon games. I honestly think if you're going to bring back any games that are not Sunday or Monday nights, it should be the 2 Saturday afternoon games during the month of December after the college football season ends. The games that aired on Fox and CBS and then NBC when they had the AFC package. Remember those games?
Yeah, they only do the 2 Saturday games for the playoffs. I like that.
Okay, I like that, but hold on. Don't you like the 2 Saturday regular season games in December after the college football season came to an end? Remember they did that years ago?
Yes, and that was in the late 90s. That's when they did
that was
a
in the
game
70s,
on
80s.
CBS.
That was in the 70s, 80s, 90s into the first part of the 2000s.
Yes, and Frank, they used to do that. One game on CBS and one game on Fox.
Mm-hmm. Or now, CBS and NBC.
Now, since the NFL Network has been around since like 04, 05, they have decided to do 3 games. I think it's just too much. One in the morning, one in the mid-afternoon, and one at night. Now, Thanksgiving, I think since 2006, that's what they've done too. They play morning, afternoon, and then a Thanksgiving night game, which I can understand because it is a holiday and people want to enjoy the turkey. But yes, the main reason is to enjoy watching NFL games.
Okay, but why don't we think about why don't we think about some of the NFL players involved here? They do not like the fact that they have to play on Thursdays, period, because they play on Sunday. They need time to rest their bodies. They don't get the full week to rest their bodies.
Yeah, but
and
they get
on top of that, you have to cram the preparation in. You have to cram the film sessions and everything.
Yeah, but if they play that Thursday game, now they got a long break before their next game, don't they?
It kind of feels like a mini bye, doesn't it?
Yeah, so you got to look at it. They look at it that way too. Listen,
but they're
the
looking
Thursday
at the
game,
standpoint of rest here.
The Thursday game has been played as long as NFL's been going on. So come on, man. I love the Thursday game. They just added really one more. Excuse me.
Let me
They've
ask
always
you,
played
do you like the
2
new
Thursday
TV
games.
deal? Because I think when it comes to Thursday night football, I think if you don't have the NFL Network, oh well.
Yeah, exactly.
Why do you have to have? Why does CBS have to? Look, CBS, they should have Sunday. They should just have Sunday afternoon games.
They're doing it on CBS.
If you want to watch a Thursday night NFL game, then you should be able to turn on the NFL Network.
They're doing it on CBS on Thursday night so they could get the people hooked on them, and then they're going to switch it to the NFL Network and make all those people get it. They ain't getting me
in a way.
They ain't getting me that way. Hey, we got to run to our final break. More talk about this NFL stuff when we return. You listen to Jeff Eskow, Sean Mann, and Frank Sprankle on
Sports World Radio.
I had PTSD. Once I was back from Iraq, I was distant from everybody in my family.
We had a reunion of our unit, and you'd hear these spouses say, "Is your husband doing that? My husband's doing that too. I thought it was just us." And really understanding that, hey, this is a common experience.
I learned more to listen to what he was saying, and that made it easier for me to understand where his pain was coming from.
Warriors should know that resources are available. Learn more at realwarriors.net.
Every parent wants the safest and healthiest products for their family. That's why I created The Honest Company. I was just a concerned mom with a crazy dream. A wish that there was a company that I could rely on that did all of the hard work for me. I'm Jessica Alba, and The Honest Company was my dream.
LegalZoom has helped 1 million businesses successfully get started, including Jessica's. Launch your dream at LegalZoom today. Call us. We're here to help.
Confusion ever someone or have sudden you trouble had speaking, understanding?
Understanding trouble? Have you sudden have or speaking someone ever confusion?
Have you ever had sudden confusion, trouble speaking, or understanding someone?
It could be one of the 5 signs of stroke.
Sudden weakness or numbness of the face, arm, or leg.
Sudden trouble with vision in one or both eyes.
Suddenly having trouble walking or difficulty with balance.
Or a sudden intense headache that comes out of nowhere.
If you or someone you know has any of these symptoms, don't wait. Call 911 immediately. You could make a difference in someone's life, someone you love, maybe even your own.
It's late until, wait, don't too. Don't wait until it's too late.
Time lost is brain lost.
Find out more at powertoendstroke.org. Brought to you by the American Heart Association, American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
Hey everybody, this is Sky, and when I want to know what's going on in the wonderful world of sports, I tune to Sports World Radio.
All right, we carried the conversation on hold while you guys were listening to the commercials. And Frank makes a great point. Sports World Radio here. Jeff Escott, showman Frank Sprankle with you. Frank was asking me a question that if San Diego Chargers are on ESPN Monday Night Football and you don't have cable, you're
not out of luck.
No, you're not out of luck because the CBS affiliate here in San Diego will pick up the game for those people who don't have cable. So if they were on the NFL Network, Chargers play on the CBS affiliate, so the game would be on our CBS affiliate, which is Channel 8 here.
Yeah, all they do is just simulcast either the NFL Network or ESPN
Correct.
feed. It's not a local produced production.
No, it's the correct. It's the NFL feed or the ESPN feed. But you're not crap out of luck, which is good. But me as a New York Giant fan, if the Giants are on the NFL Network, guess what? I am crap out of luck because I don't have the NFL Network in the studio. I would have to go in the house to watch it. But I do have the internet, and I do know where to watch it.
The question is,
me too.
Here's the big question, though, with this NFL Network thing. Now, we did a story, and we talked about how for the first 8 weeks that the NFL on Thursday night will be on CBS.
Mm-hmm.
You think it could possibly change where they could do all NFL games on CBS? Because what I'm getting at is the people who don't have NFL Network, like after the first 8 weeks, it's going to be gone, okay? And then they're going to go to the NFL Network.
John, I can
They'll
explain
think
that.
to change
Speak up,
that,
and I can
and they'll
explain
say,
it.
then you think after that, then they'll change it and say, well, with it being popular with CBS and everybody watching on Thursday nights, why don't we just play all the NFL games on Thursday nights until December?
Guys, can I get in on this? Because I can actually
Sure, this is a
explain
question
that.
for you, Frank. Go ahead.
Right,
Go ahead.
I know this for a fact. This is a 1-year deal with the NFL in which you have those 8 games on CBS and then the back 8 are on the NFL Network.
They're all
It's
eventually
just a
gonna be-
1-year deal. However, there is an option for a second year. So CBS can elect to pick up those 8 games early on in 2015 as well.
And you know why? And you know why they're going to wait? You know why they're going to wait? Because of their programming on Thursday nights. They got a very powerful programming on Thursday nights during the fall.
But it's just a 1-year option.
And
I know.
I've been itching to say this. We've got 9 minutes left before the end of our show here until tomorrow. But I've been itching to say this. Why don't they have this as another option? Why don't they just play the NFL games on CBS for the first 8 weeks? And why don't they move the other 8 to TNT? Think about it. TNT
or TBS.
Or TBS. Well, TNT is what I remember. For a while, they did NFL games on TNT around the from the early 90s to 1997. And then that contract quickly ended. They should possibly do that so everybody else can see it, because people can't always have the NFL Network.
The games that are going to be on CBS ain't going to be on CBS for long on Thursday nights. They're going to move them all and have them all on the NFL Network.
Yeah, and it'll probably then be an NFL Network production starting next season again.
Exactly.
They should put TNT in this.
No, they're not going to, because then they have to give money to TNT.
Yeah, wait a minute. Hold on, Jeff. And Jeff, you're a big fan of this. What about the NBA on TNT?
I love the NBA
The
on
NBA
TNT.
on TNT plays on Thursday nights.
I love the NBA on TNT because I get to watch games. I don't need the NFL on TNT. Put them on the NFL Network where I can't be bothered with them.
Because then all of a sudden you conflict within TNT's NBA contract, and they have a contract which expires in 2 seasons with TNT, and they have to air games on Thursday night.
And you remember when growing up, I remember that the NBA on TNT and TBS, they were doing it for a long time. And I remember growing up, going to school, I would never have any homework sometimes. Whoever was playing, I'd always watch it on TNT or TBS because I always enjoyed it back in the 90s. Of course, another option they could possibly do, of course, we know that the MLB on TBS goes on Sundays and, of course, the postseason. But they could also look at the option maybe of putting the NFL on TBS. Don't rule
It's
out
not a
Turner
superstation anymore. TBS is not a superstation out of Atlanta anymore. It used
what
to
I'm
be.
saying is, don't rule out Turner Sports as a possibility for calling
They're
games.
not going to because they'd have to pay Turner. They want all the money for themselves. It's going to be on the NFL Network. Are you people that stupid you can't see that?
Hold on. Here's another option, too. Could NBC Universal make a bid to put games on NBC Sportsnet or the USA Network? There was talk years ago of NBC Universal initially picking up the Thursday night package for the USA Network. That was rumored.
It's not going to happen. NFL Network is going to have all of the games on their freaking channel eventually.
And the NFL Network hasn't been around that long. And
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You think the NFL Network brought the NFL Network on to have other people have the NFL games on their stations? No.
But let me ask you this. You love Thursday night football, Jeff, right?
No, I don't give a flying fig Newton.
Okay, but it seems that there are some people that don't like Thursday night football. Well, let me tell you this. I think it's people being a victim of their desires, and let me explain why. Because it seems that a lot of people just can't get enough of football, so much to the point where the NFL has added these Thursday night games. And you got to understand, too, a lot of these players don't like the Thursday night games. Sure, it has to do with...
Because it's a short week.
Yeah, because of the rest. Forget about the cramming of the preparation, the bodies. The bodies, Sean.
It's a short... Yeah,
and whose
I know
fault,
the rest
and
of the
whose
bodies,
fault
but here's
is
the
that?
thing, it's a short week.
And whose fault is that?
Roger Goodell.
Us. Well, maybe Roger Goodell, but I think in the end it could be our fault because we love football so much we can't get enough of it. And as a result, Roger Goodell realizes that more football, the better.
Okay, and with that thought right there, then I guess he's not concerned with their safety, is he?
No, wait, hold on. You're making a good
Everybody
point.
was happy when NFL
point,
Commissioner Pete Rozelle and Paul Tagliabue were the commissioners, because when we had it, they used to play the NFL games. It was always Sunday and Mondays. Now it's like becoming kind of like an everyday thing. 4 days we're talking about, basically. Sunday, Monday, Thursday, and then around when December comes, Saturday.
If Roger Goodell really cared about injuries and their welfare and them not getting hurt, there would be no Thursday night football. The only reason why he's doing it is because he wants the freaking money. That's it. End of story.
Then what do you say about Thanksgiving Day games? Because that's still a short week for the Lions.
I can't say anything.
That's tradition.
Yes,
the NFL
exactly.
on Thanksgiving, they've been doing it for years.
Exactly.
Lions have been doing NFL games since
1934.
Longer than you've been
Dallas
alive,
Cowboys
Frank.
been playing Thanksgiving Day games since the 60s.
They've been doing it longer than you've been alive, Frank.
Do you know why I'm looking forward to this year, to Thanksgiving this year especially? You want to know why? Because my Bears are playing on Thanksgiving. They're the first game against the Lions.
And now you're bitching and moaning because of the Thanksgiving Day game, but your team is in it, right?
Hey, I'll enjoy it. I'll enjoy it, but hopefully by then the Bears are on the verge of clinching a divisional title.
Well, look what the Encyclopedia Man says 4 minutes before we get off the air. He says, look, people can't always get what they want. They need to get over themselves. I can agree with that.
I can't believe you guys are saying that the NFL should put games on TNT and TBS. They have an NFL network. You don't think their plan is not to put all the Thursday night games on the NFL network?
Wouldn't that help people wanting to get the NFL network? It doesn't have such a strong distribution. It would
here's
help.
the thing. Then they got to go on their computers and look for a link and watch the streaming since they don't have the NFL
Well,
network.
I hate to tell you
And
something.
I know a link. I know a few links. I'm not going to tell you,
No,
but
I
I
hate
know
to
a few.
tell
I'm not
you
going to say
so.
it publicly, but I do know of a few links where you can watch these games.
If you have cable, I mean, I have pretty much basic cable in this house. Okay? We have the NFL network in the house. It comes with the package, the basic cable package. So you get the NFL network. It's just I don't have it in the studio. I don't have a cable box in the studio. So I don't get the NFL network in the studio. If I had a cable box in here, I would get it.
Let me ask you, though, how much do you enjoy the NFL Network's programming? Not the Thursday night games. I'm talking about the top 10, the America's Game Series.
I don't watch any
Football
of it.
Life. Those are great shows.
I don't watch any of it. I don't watch the NFL Network. I don't watch the MLB Network. I don't watch the NBA Network. I don't watch the NHL
I'm surprised you don't
Network.
watch NBA TV.
I don't watch any of that crap. You know why?
You're a big basketball fan. I'm surprised you don't watch. Why?
Because I don't have it in the studio.
Okay, but when you're away from the studio, do you watch NBA TV?
I am never away from the studio unless I am sleeping in my bedroom.
But we'll
only
see
time
what
I am
happens
not
with
in
this
the
for the 8 first games on CBS
Frank, the only
starting
time-
September 11th,
Go ahead, Jeff.
Thursday.
Go ahead, Jeff.
The only time I'm not in the studio is either when I'm sleeping, making dinner, getting my dinner, or going to the bathroom. That's it.
Okay, and then when you're out, who's protecting the house?
The house is always protected by me. I'm in the backyard.
Well,
Everything
here's
is
what
protected by
Encyclopedia
me.
Man says. He goes, you can subscribe to a WWE network for $10 a month.
I do.
You know, I don't even have that channel because Xfinity doesn't carry it.
What? The WWE network?
They don't. Xfinity does not carry the WWE network.
Well, if you go to WWE.com, you can get the WWE network right on your freaking computer.
I
you
know,
rat
I
bastard.
know.
I have it on mine. I love it. We got a big event coming up in 2 weeks, SummerSlam, out here in Cali. Hey, we're getting the flock out of here. That's our 2-hour show. I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us today. The producer, Josh Lopez. I want to thank Frank Sprinkle, the windbag himself, for coming on in. And
Why don't you just call me Windbag Frank?
Windbag Frank. Look, he's giving himself his own nicknames. I love that. Windbag Frank, Windbag Frank from Chicago. From the Windy City. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Remember, you only have one life to live. Live it long, live it strong, and live it proud. And please don't forget, life may suck. I forgot what the rest
the
of
alternative is unacceptable.
Sometimes I just go blank.
And I will say amen to that. Amen.
Yeah, sometimes I just go blank, man. It just happens because I don't have it written down. It has to come out of my mind. Sometimes
Glad to help out.
I go
Yeah.
blank.
As long as I got the amen, because that is an
That's
important
right.
message.
There you go. For Sean Mann, Frank Sprinkle, I'm Jeff Escow. This has been Sports World Radio. Peace out, bitches. We will see you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Hey, boys, Stimpy. We sure had fun today, didn't we? So long, kids. Come on, Stimpy, say goodbye.
Where are we going?